When people ask me how I've lost 200 pounds and have been able to keep it off for a while, the answer is not what you think. Yes, it's somewhat about what you eat. Yes, it's about having movement in your life. I found a change in my thinking that changed everything. Stick with me, and I'm going to walk you through how I went from dreading and hating diets to actually living a life where I feel fulfilled. I feel happy about what I eat, and I actually have a different outlook on life than I did a few years ago before starting this. Hi, my name is Easter and welcome to my channel. Here we have a no-nonsense approach to weight loss that is no gimmicks, no fluff, all about the inner work you have to do and the choices you make instead of rigid diets and counting calories. Today, I'm going to share with you a mindset change that was life-altering to me, that made me go from dieting and counting calories and dreading every second of it, resenting every moment of it, to being a lifestyle change that is peaceful, that makes me happy on a day-to-day basis and left me not even thinking about the food anymore. Can you imagine what it would be like going from the fear you have of not overindulging to, hey, this feels good and I'm pretty happy with myself. I'm pretty proud of myself and I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything, because that's where I am. I'm going to walk you through those steps today and tell you my story and hope it helps you out as well. For most of my life, I had been a normal weight, approximately like I am right now. But about 6 years ago, I had a couple of devastating situations in my life and I ballooned. 200 pounds of ballooning. That's a lot of ballooning. I swallowed down every fear, anxiety, regret, pain. And then when I was happy and celebrating, I ate then too, because that's all I did. I thought about food all the time. It was my reward. It was my punishment. It was my comfort. It was my stability. It was my, I need to do something and I'm bored. And it was my stress reliever. It was everything it shouldn't have been. When I started, I had tried many diets. I had tried counting calories, counting carbs, this fast, this plan, that plan. Nothing stuck. Yes, I would lose weight, but I would be angry and resentful. I'd be like, oh, gotta start this again. And I would start my morning dreading the day, thinking, what am I going to do? I really just want to order a box of Tim Hortons cookies. And how am I going to get through this day? And how many more days is there? Oh, 59 days, 198 pounds to go. I'm never going to make it. To where I am now, which is, yeah, don't have that. It's going to make you feel bad. You're going to have a lot of remorse and regret if you have it. You're going to be afraid that you'll put weight back on. So my decisions are peaceful, kind to myself, loving to myself. I am worth the effort it took to change my thinking. So when my daughter came to me 3 years ago and said, Mom, you've got to do something. You're not going to live to see my babies grow up. Sure, that was the catalyst. That was what propelled me to start. But what kept me going? What is it that changed inside me where you now see somebody smiling when I'm talking about food because I enjoy my food 200 pounds less than I was? You now see somebody who is confident and who is competent and who believes in herself. What changed from that insecure person who couldn't make a decision, who was afraid of every outcome, who couldn't speak up for herself? The change was that instead of looking back and saying, oh, you dieted 10 times and you failed every time, I examined each time and I say, wow, you had the courage to start. Wow, you lost 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds. You gained it back, but you did it, which means you're capable of doing it again. I started looking back at situations where I felt like I failed in life. And in general, because it wasn't just weight loss, I carried a lot of regret and remorse. And I wanted to start to look at myself as somebody who was worth thinking differently about. Because if I always was focused on the negative, if I always focused on my failure, how was I ever going to focus on the possibility of getting it right? If you think about your future and what goals you have that you want in your future, and you're walking towards them and you're thinking, yes, I can do this, of course you're going to walk forward. But if you have this goal in your future and it's sitting over there, and then you have all these regrets in the past, and you sit there saying, oh, you always fail. Oh, you tried so many times. It's just going to happen again. Oh, you could have done better raising your kids, or you could have whatever. If you're facing this all the time, how are you going to walk forward in the right direction? Ask yourself this. How, if I'm walking on a street, if I'm walking forward, but I have my head facing backwards, I'm going to trip and fall. And I'm going to say, what are you doing? You can't do this. Just go back there in the comfort zone. That changed everything for me. This little shift in the beginning was just a little shift in my thinking, made all the difference in the world. I started focusing on, hey, you know what? You need to be healthy because it's the right thing to do for your body. It's right for your life. You want to live longer, you want to feel better, and you want to watch your grandchildren grow up. So let's face it in a positive way. I imagined my grandchildren growing up. I remembered I had lost 50 pounds and focused on the fact that I accomplished it rather than feeling like I failed by stopping it. I looked at myself as what I can do, what I have done, and then it went further. It became, well, you know what, Easter? You've had such negative, toxic thoughts about yourself. Why don't we change that too? And instead of focusing on where I felt I failed in relationships or failed in raising my kids the way I wanted to, or whatever the case was, I started saying to myself, you know what? You're pretty fun to be with. You're quirky, you're playful, you can have a good conversation. I focused on, you know what? Maybe nobody knows, but you pray for the people on the street as you walk by. And then I thought about things like, oh, so-and-so is having a hard time. You're always the person to call when you know it. And the more I started to look at myself purposely in the right light, the less I was looking backwards. Once I adjusted my thinking, it became the new norm. The old norm, instead of going from a calorie counting, carb counting, rigid ruled diet, I went to a, you are worth losing the weight, eat properly. You know how to eat properly. We all know how to eat properly. And if you don't, there's so many websites. I have some videos on it, but there's so many websites that teach you, so many people that teach you. It's not hard to figure out what to eat. What's hard is understanding just how worth it you are. Changing my thinking eventually caused me not only to think better about myself, but to realize I had self-worth, to realize I had a lot to offer other people and myself. It caused me to realize that I was somebody lovable and deserving to love myself. How can I succeed in anything if I don't believe in myself? How can I succeed in anything if I'm always looking only where I failed? Yes, determination can get you far in life. Yes, willpower can get you far. But if you're not rooted in knowing deeply just how amazing you are on the inside, everything you do is rooted in fear, or rooted in trying to measure up to something, or it's rooted in who knows what your reasons are. If you do some self-examination, you'll know your reasons, and you only answer to God. So my reasons became, I need to do this to feel better about myself. I need to do it to feel confident and comfortable and energetic again. I didn't remember what it was like to not have joint pain screaming at me every time I went to bed. And those little things became my mantra. And suddenly I realized I enjoyed myself. And I realized I laughed with myself. And you know, one thing I used to really really hate about myself is just how clumsy I am. Like, I'm literally the person who gets off the airplane, who's come through the door to meet her long distance boyfriend for the first time. I trip over something in the room. My luggage pieces go flying in 3 directions. My purse skirts across the room. My coffee spills all over me. And I'm looking up and I'm like, hi, nice to meet you. That's me. And I used to cringe. But now I just laugh at it. I'm like, who else is that clumsy? Not many people, but I am. And I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I accept who I am gracefully. I accept who I am gladly. I don't look at my faults and say, oh man, this is who you are. I look at my potential. I look at my capability to grow still. Yes, I'm 60 years old, but I feel like I've just begun. So if you are on a weight loss journey and you want it to last, yes, of course, what you eat is important. Look it up and follow it. Yes, of course, getting some movement and mobility into your body and eventually a fitness routine is crucial to your weight loss. However, where you start and your attitude and your self-love and your self-worth are far more important to your long-lasting success than any of the other things. The old ways didn't work 10 times over. You need to try something new. You're thinking, you're backwards thinking, you're looking at the past mistakes is a pattern. Patterns can be reset, patterns can be relearned, and if you work towards this over time, you will reset your patterns. No doubt. Leave a comment for me below. Let me know if this resonated and how it resonated with you. Let me know if you're willing to take a journey towards self-love that will not only help you lose weight, but it will help you keep it off, because the very reasons you ate for in the beginning don't exist. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and come back for more soon, because I always have more.